A girl finds herself stranded on a rock after being attacked by a great white shark. With the shark circling her every move, Nancy must use all her wits and resourcefulness to survive. Nancy Adams, a college medical student, is on her way to a beach for a personal vacation. She is accompanied by Carlos, who is driving her there. The beach holds a special place in Nancy's heart as it was a favorite spot of her mother, who recently passed away from cancer. Nancy was supposed to be joined by her friend Anna, but she had to cancel due to illness, leaving Nancy to take the trip alone. Upon arrival at the beach, Nancy offers Carlos some cash for his services, but he declines, stating that he did her a favor, and leaves the beach. Nancy eagerly gears up for an exciting surf session, ready to conquer the waves on her trusty board. As she rides the surf, she encounters two fellow wave enthusiasts who quickly spot her as a visitor. Nancy decides to join them, as she rides the waves and revels in the increasingly thrilling surf experience. Nancy gets out of the water after a refreshing surf session, and has a video chat with her sister Chloe to tell her all about the beach, and how their mother was right about how it's like paradise. Nancy then talks to her father, who knows she is taking the trip for her mother. However, their conversation reveals that they have not been getting along since her mother's passing. Her father expresses concern over her grief and actions and urges her to come home. But Nancy is determined to have her own adventure at the beach and wants to do things her way. Nancy heads back into the ocean, swimming past the shallow area to catch more waves. She witnesses two surfers leaving the scene. As she gets farther from the shore, she sees a whale carcass floating on top, emitting a foul odor. Birds are squabbling for a piece of it. Sensing trouble, Nancy tries to ride a wave back to the shore. However, as she rides it, a large great white shark knocks her off the board, resulting in an unusual underwater experience. Nancy climbs back onto the board and attempts to paddle back. But the shark bites deep into her left leg, spilling a lot of blood into the water. Suddenly, Nancy swims toward the whale carcass and climbs onto it to avoid another shark attack. Meanwhile, she sees the two surfers leaving with their vehicle and decides to shout for help. But to no avail, they can't hear her. The shark suddenly starts moving the whale carcass, and immediately hits it over. This gives Nancy the opportunity to escape as she swims to a rock where the shark can't reach her. Using the ankle strap from her board, she makes a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. As time passes, it gets darker, and Nancy tries to find a way away from the shark. She feels cold, hungry, and the fresh shark bite causes endless pain. To keep warm, she puts her suit back on and loosens the tourniquet to allow blood flow in her leg. Nancy attempts to stitch herself up using her earrings and necklace chain, but it's too painful. Her only companion is a seagull with an injured wing. While trying to rest, Nancy notices spiders and crabs climbing on her body. She attempts to eat a tiny crab but quickly vomits it up. Thinking the shark is no longer in sight, Nancy decides to swim to the shore, but upon spotting the shark, she hurriedly swims back. Just before the shark can catch her, she climbs a rock. On the shore, Nancy sees a drunk man passed out in the sand. She calls out to him and manages to get his attention, pointing towards her bag for him to call for help. Instead, the man steals her phone and wallet, choosing to abandon her. However, he notices her board floating in the shallows and walks into the water to retrieve it. Nancy warns him to stay away from the shark. She then witnesses the shark attacking the man as he heads back to the shore. The shark tears the man in half, and the top half attempts to crawl away until he succumbs to his wounds. In the morning, the other two surfers return to the ocean. Nancy calls to them as they ride their boards into the water. She warns them about the shark, but one surfer assures her there isn't one. He is proven wrong when the shark jumps up and eats him. The other surfers rush toward the rock, but the shark pulls him down. He resurfaces quickly by the rock where Nancy tries to pull him up. The shark pulls him down, leaving only his helmet with a camera on top, which captures him getting eaten. Nancy observes the shark's movements as it circles the rock, estimating that it swims about 32 seconds around another rock, which leaves her with time to swim and reach the helmet. She takes that chance and makes it to the little rock, but she misses the helmet before the shark returns. As she goes back to the bigger rock, she sees the helmet again. Nancy reaches for it as the shark lunges toward her. The shark hurts itself as it scrapes against the coral. Nancy manages to get the helmet and is back to her rock. She makes a video for anyone that finds the helmet showing how bad her leg is and realizes that the tissues are dying due to a lack of blood supply. She leaves a message for Chloe and their father, expressing her concern about the situation. Nancy pops the seagull's wing back into place, and then lets it float away on a broken piece of surfboard. Nancy sees a floating station several feet away on the surface of the water. She makes her plan to reach it and try to bring attention to herself. As she prepares herself, the shark swims toward her. A school of jellyfish rises up. Nancy thinks the shark can harm her if it runs into something that can hurt it. She jumps into the water and swims toward the station, and the shark follows closely. She gets stung on her shoulder. While the shark eats some jellyfish, she gets stung too. The shark was in pursuit until she reaches the station. About to climb the iron ladder, a piece breaks in her hands, making her fall on top of the shark. Her sixth sense steps in, leading her to stab the shark tail while she climbs back up. Nancy finds a flare gun which grabs the shots and fires a few in the air as she spots a boat in the distance. Unfortunately, the boat is already turned away, and it never sees her. On the shore, a little boy finds the helmet camera and sees Nancy's video and runs to get his father. As the shark circles the station, Nancy quickly grabs a flare and fires it directly at the shark, but the shark manages to maneuver. On the second attempt, the flare hits the shark as it bursts into flames for a moment, due to the floating whale blubber, although it dives underwater before it is too badly burned. Now pissed off, the shark starts slamming into the station, breaking the chains that keep it up. It manages to loosen the station and starts chomping into it. Nancy struggles to keep herself at a distance and hold on to the station as it falls down. The shark violently attacks the station, feeding off the irons to get to her. While underwater, she notices the chain holding the station to a spiked base on the floor of the bay. The shark comes up and starts eating the station. At the right moment, Nancy gets the chain on a hook stuck in the shark's side. This pulls her down toward the base as the shark chases her, missing her in one attempt. She pulls out at the right moment, causing the shark to swim directly onto the base, and it gets impaled. This kills it instantly. The little boy comes with Carlos to the beach. The two find Nancy washed up on the shore, dehydrated and weak. They run to help her. Nancy sees the seagulls standing close to her. Before she passes out, Nancy sees a vision of her mother smiling down on her. Nancy simply says she is okay. 1 year later, Nancy is doing better, albeit with a big scar on her leg. She returns to the beach with Chloe and their father. Nancy brings Chloe into the water to teach her how to surf. The end. Please subscribe to support the channel, and have a wonderful day.